Do you wish to be happy?
Yes.
Yes? Can we say to a person, we want to be happy? No one's like, no, thank you very much. I'd rather have a dour and terrible life instead. No one in the choir wants that. No, I mean, we want to be happy, don't we? Good. Now that's a much better response than I got last week to the question, do you want to be a saint? Yeah, you laugh, but it's not really funny. It was a decidedly mixed response when I asked, do you want to be a saint? Actually, that's not true at all. It wasn't really mixed. There was one person, Michael, who said yes. And everyone else in the deafening silence said no. But perhaps it's for the best. Because to be a saint takes quite a lot of work. If you really want to be a saint, it means focusing your life and your energy and your time and your money and your efforts on following Jesus Christ. That is quite a lot of work, actually. But being happy is something I think we can all get behind. Who doesn't like happiness? It's much better than anger or sorrow or despair or pain and suffering or anything else. I mean, happy's kind of where it's at. It's what you want. But Psalm 1 begins, happy are those who do not take the counsel of the wicked. Well, that makes sense. You don't want wicked people telling you to do wicked and terrible things. That's not going to lead to happiness, is it? And in the second verse it says, but happy are those who delight in the law of the Lord and who keep his ways. Now, a little confession. I do the daily office every day, as a number of you do. It means that you get to read like Leviticus and Deuteronomy, where the law is put out in excruciating detail. I don't find that much happiness and joy in knowing precisely what kind of bird is supposed to be sacrificed on what day for what sins on what side of the altar. Have any of you ever read those parts in the daily office? Do you find those really joy-filled parts of the law? They're just not, are they? I mean, they're really important. Don't get me wrong, you should read them. Because they are important. They're important for all kinds of academic reasons. They're important for really good theological reasons. But in terms of just bringing you joy, it's hard to see how that's going to make you terribly happy. Maybe Jesus is the best, right? Maybe Jesus has figured it out. Happy are you, he says. Now he uses the word blessed in the NRSV, but the actual word in Greek means happy. It's the same word you get in Psalm 1. Happy are those who delight in the law. Happy are those who do what? Who are poor. Now, I'll tell you what, in my life, I've had more money sometimes, and I've had less money other times. Guess which I prefer? More money. If I had to choose between more money and less money, I choose more money. Because more money doesn't in and of itself make you happy, but it certainly does make things a lot easier, doesn't it? You walk outside, you try to turn on your car, you find out the battery is dead. It's $100 for a new battery. Well, if you've got a couple $100 in the bank, it's not a real disaster. But if you don't have a couple of $100 to get it fixed, it kind of is. But happy are those who are poor. Happy are those who are hungry now. Now, for many of us, truth be told, being a bit hungrier from time to time would probably be good for our long-term health. No one's laughing at that, but it's true, right? I don't like being hungry. Do you? It doesn't feel real happy. Happy are those who weep now. That doesn't feel happy when you're doing it, does it? Happy are those who were reviled and hated and spat upon and persecuted on my account, says the Lord. Well, that doesn't sound happy at all. That sounds like being bullied. You're not even allowed to do that in school anymore. And then Jesus makes it worse. Woe to you who are rich. But we've all agreed we'd like more money instead of less, wouldn't we? Woe to you who rejoice now, for you will cry. Woe to you who are full now, for you shall be hungry. And woe to you when they say nice things about you, because that's what they did to the liars and to the false prophets. What could he be saying? It doesn't sound like a recipe for joy and happiness. Now I've got to ask you again, do you want to be happy or not? You really do? All right, pay attention. Here it is. Here is how you get happy. Happy are those who are poor. Now see, there's nothing wrong with being rich, qua being rich. Money in and of itself isn't a good thing, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It doesn't do anything. It's like a book. It just sits there. But happy are those who are poor because they have not focused their lives upon gathering earthly goods. Happy are those who weep now because they've not spent all their time and effort focusing their lives on earthly transient things that don't bring joy and happiness. Happy are you when people say nasty things about you because you've told them the truth in love, because you've been seeking after Jesus Christ and his righteousness. I'm reminded of an article I read probably 8 or 10 years ago during the great economic downturn and afterwards. The year before it, an investment banker had made $5 billion for himself in 1 year. And he was being interviewed by someone for the Wall Street Journal. She asked him, she said, so you made $5 billion last year. That's quite a lot of money. That's rich, isn't it? And with it, with all that money, you've got a beautiful skiing home out in Colorado, and you've got a beach home on the ocean, you've got a beautiful place in Connecticut that you commute to work from, you've got a big yacht. You seem to have everything someone could want, and yet you never enjoy them. No, I couldn't possibly. I work more than 100 hours a week. How am I going to enjoy going to the beach? So why do you keep working? His answer, without even thinking about it, so I didn't have to go back to living on $10,000 a day. I don't know about you, but I think I can make a pretty good run at living on $10K a day. So she asked him, how much would be enough? 10% more than I've got. $5.5 billion would be enough. But you know what? If he got $5.5 billion, the following year he would need another $550 million. Another 10%. You see, it looked like he should be happy because he had all this stuff, all this money. But his whole life was consumed and enslaved by the pursuit of earthly wealth. It's all he had. And he needed more of it because $5 billion is not enough. Happy are those who are poor because they focused their time and their lives on following Jesus and not on pursuing earthly wealth. The secret to being happy is to not focus on transient things that are here today and gone. Don't focus on being rich. Focus on loving God and being holy. Don't focus on all these other things that would distract you. Focus on loving God and following Jesus and being holy. Focus on becoming a saint and dragging others to heaven. For that is how you get happy. So what's the focus of your life? Kind of a hard question. If you're not sure, I can tell you how to figure it out. Find your calendar. And if you don't keep a calendar, for the next 2 weeks, every day, write down what you do with every 30-minute increment of your time. It will tell you what you focus your life on. Because this week, you will get 168 hours. Next week, you will get 168 hours. The richest person you know will get 168 hours, and the poorest person you know will get 168 hours. No more, no less. Time is precious because time is scarce. What you choose to do with those 168 hours will tell you what you actually care about and what you actually focus on. Because where you spend your time is what you love, and it's what you care about. Do you wish to be happy? Now the response is a lot more like the question, do you want to be a saint? If you want to be happy, the only way to do it is to become a saint. Amen.